Very good evening to everyone. Welcome to the video again. So for those who have been following this video, as usual, we are going to follow up on last week's review on the Dow, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. And as usual, we are going to talk about the Singapore Straits Times Index and some Singapore stocks that we have been discussing last week. So let's look at the screen right now. Let's start off with the Dow. The Dow did not follow what we would expect. So I did see that Dow on that day, on this particular day, after the video was released, it went up very close to its resistance over here, but in the end, it closed much lower than the level that I expected. So as such, it's no surprise to see the Dow continue to move lower and struggle to move up, as you can see from this long upper shadow over here. So tonight, the future is slightly positive, but this week can be tough because of FOMC. The whole market is expecting the interest rate action and the action from the Fed. So what are they expecting? Probably they are worrying that the QE program is going to cut down or reduce, and that may have some impact to the market movement. Okay, so if the Dow continue to slide lower, we do want to watch for 34333 supports, because once this break, then the Dow may continue to move lower to fill up this gap over here, where it is going to fill up. If it breaks support, this is what I'm saying. The gap is 34208 to 34252. Okay. Of course, if the market were to anticipate something positive from the Fed, this is where we want to see the Dow to retest this high at 34824, and then of course break out from 34849 in order to resume back its uptrend. So let's see how the Dow closed tonight. The NASDAQ 100 follow the script exactly, break out from its resistance, very nicely move towards its next resistance at 14071. If this can continue, of course, we are expecting the all-time high to form if the NASDAQ can break out from its major resistance at 14071. As of now, the chart still looks positive, so we shall look at the candles tonight and then see what could be happening to NASDAQ. Again, the FOMC could throw some uncertainty towards NASDAQ as well, so we shall look out for the next course of action. S&P 500 very nicely formed the cup and handle formation and breakout from it. It is a small breakout. It's not a very convincing breakout. So basically what we still want to cheer about is that the S&P 500 is sitting above its resistance at 4238. The projection that was made last week was 4426. So probably it may resume back after the Fed meeting is over. So we are going to see what's going to happen again. STI, well, unfortunately, the STI did not go as planned. This was a strong rebound, but the next day it was erased by this selling and it continued to move lower. So there was a surprise upside over here. But again, it was quickly erased last Friday. So this was a Thursday candle where we start to see some rebound from the STI, but it was quickly erased on Friday as our banks continue to feel the selling pressure. I'm going to elaborate more on the banks. So today we see STI slide down slightly. With the support to watch right now is 3144. So if it breaks this support, it can start a new downtrend, especially now we can see that there are lower highs already. So if I connect these highs together, it forms a descending pattern where a breakdown could really start a downtrend. So let's see whether the support can hold. Now let's go to the counters. So as mentioned, we are going to talk about the banks. Last week we were here, so we saw OCBC rebounded strongly. The next day follow up with a higher opening. So we saw hope, and I mentioned that I was, if I dare to dream. So in the end, I was dreaming. So why I say that is because the OCBC closed lower that day, and the next day, while selling pressure continued to push the counter lower, and eventually we see this counter breaks its supports today. So today we have a gap down, and it broke its support to trade towards its next support at 12.18. As such, the bullish formations are now disrupted, and then we probably going to see a tougher action going forward. Okay, so first thing to note is that if OCBC continue to move lower, 12.18 support got to hold. Okay, so if it doesn't hold at this support level, it breaks down, more downward actions will continue. And the next crucial support to look out for will be 11.88. Now, if this OCBC can rebound, fill up the gap over here, and then a strong rally continue up back to this downtrend line over here, then it can revive its bullish formation, and then the dreams goes on. Okay, so can scenario 2 happen or scenario 1 happen? So support level is very important, and of course the gap here is very important. DBS is similar. After the strong rebound over here, it was quickly erased by a lower opening, and then you see a lower closing. So this tells you the sellers are dominating the market, and then they continue to dominate the next day, or even there is a fight back, a small fight back on this particular day, last Thursday, it did not help. So we can see that the counter continue to move towards its support level at 29.64. So similar to OCBC, we can see some topish pattern over here where we see lower high already, and this could be a sign. If the support break over here, we may see a downtrend. Now, if you compare OCBC and DBS, OCBC is the first one to start a downtrend over here. As you can see, it breaks the support, which forms the lower low. DBS hasn't done it yet. So, well, can DBS revive OCBC by helping it to close up the gap and then go up? Because typically what we see is that if the banks are bullish, three banks will move together. UOB, similar to a DBS chart, at the support level, very close to support level. And we also see lower highs over here. So if it breaks this support level, the next one will be here at 25.81. And of course, having breaking the support, all the bullish formation are all negated. And then, of course, what you can see here is that we see the downtrend line. It may start a downtrend going forward. So we are going to look at the next day, how support will react for this counter. Now, just a quick summary of the market before I continue. As those who are looking and watching the market today, in fact, it's a super penny day. As we can see, multiple pennies runs together, and they had a very strong run, easily 30–40% rally for all these counters. Okay, so maybe I just name a few. Today we have a very strong rally from RH Petrogas, a whooping 61%, really. Then we have Valiant and a Sirius System, 42%, GSS, Energy, 42%, Mermaid, 30% or 28%, right? So on and so forth. So all these penny counters run like nobody's business, and some, of course, some may observe this before, right? When the penny counters run, this means that the bull market is nearing to its end. So if this is the case, of course, we will witness DBS follow OCBC and UOB follow OCBC to break its support and continue to go down lower. Now, of course, I'm not saying that this is going to be a long-term downtrend. It probably is going to be a short-term downtrend where we see some correction in June. Then after that, see some recovery at the beginning of July or towards the mid of July. Okay, so having said that, come to the tech counters. Because we can see that Franken tested its support today and then attempt to break its support. The good thing is it managed to hold its support as it closed higher. However, even so, there's some concern because we do see topish pattern over here. So if it breaks below the this support, we may see some more downward action towards the next support at 159. Okay. So again, I'm not saying that Franken is going to be bearish forever. It could be something like this, a correction. Okay, a correction like this, which gives us a good opportunity, a perfect opportunity to enter before the next rally happen again. Okay, so if this happens again, do watch out for the low and then start your investment or trading with Franken. UMS, last week I mentioned that it hit the resistance and then tend to have a pullback, and indeed it pulled back, and then I would expect it to pull back and then form another low so that it can form a nice cup handle formation. So it did pull back now, and then today is a doji. So concern here is whether can the rebound happen immediately or it will continue to slide down lower, then it start to rebound back to its resistance level. So it's very hard to tell right now, especially this week. It's a tough week with the market trading cautiously ahead of the Fed announcement. So it's going to be a watchful week where you really got to look at the market and see how they react to determine how the market will go and trade the rest of the month. Okay, AEM, you see that it hasn't been able to form its higher low. So what you see here is that it continued to slide lower. In fact, also you can view this as some consolidation over here. Okay, so again, it requires a rebound, a strong rebound. So can this AEM break up from here? So from the formation here, you can see that if AEM can break up from here, upside slightly to follow, resistance has a chance to be tested at 377. Now, if it breaks below here, then we may see some more downside. Of course, it's not new that AEM will potentially form double bottom. So you can see some sliding action down, form two bottom here, or even three bottoms before it start to fly up. So this can happen again. It can continue slide down, then form another bottom before it start to go higher to fill up the gap over here. So it's a uncertain kind of movement as of now. So a strong breakout would really helps, either up or down. So if it breaks down, then of course those who are looking at to trade AEM can wait lower price to trade. Nano firm, last week I mentioned about the flat pattern. The flat pattern continues to form as there isn't any breakout coming. So the volume continue to dip lower, as you can see, declining volume. So we really need a breakout from this nano firm to convincingly tell us that it's going to move back up and then move towards our profit target. Okay. Grand Venture was a highlight in my email. I mentioned that it was forming a flat pattern. So it had a very strong breakout over here, but it did not really follow through its buying as it started to consolidate over here. Very similar to Ban Leong. So Ban Leong, as I mentioned last week, did not continue to break out to go higher. And in fact, it is drifting lower. So can Grand Venture trigger another breakout? As you can see, the volume is also declining here. So it sounds like give us a clue to tell us that the big players are not in as yet. So we really need to look out for it to hit above 1.24 and then the price trades above somewhere around here. Then we see Grand Venture continue to move up. Okay. So Yang Zhijiang, last week I mentioned that hopefully there is a rebound from here, then we can look for an entry. But unfortunately, there isn't any strong rebound. But today we see some glimmer of hope where it starts to rebound from this support level, which I would be happy to say that with this rebound, if Yang Zhijiang can continue this good work and then move back up to test its resistance over here at 153, then it can continue to form its ascending patterns where it may have an eventual breakout to continue higher. Okay, so the first thing is to test 153. So once it tests 153, then I will come back to show you what is the next projected target. Okay. Last week, I also mentioned about Union Gas forming the pennant formation, and for those who have taken action, congratulations to you or to us, because I personally also have Union Gas. So we can see that there is a strong breakout over here, which calls for an action. And then today we see a even stronger rally. So why Union Gas rallies strongly? Because it has applied to move to the main board. Okay, so usually when the business are good, then SGX would approve that. Of course, first of all, it is confident that its business is going to be good. That's why it applies to go to the main board. So this explains why Union Gas moved up strongly to 110. So last week, my projected target is 103. That was conservative. People know me that I also like to do conservative projections. I would not like to promise the sky heaven. But then, of course, for those who are having Union Gas together, let's continue to hold on to this bullish trend and then write out the whole rally. Okay. Then finally, we talk about Riverstone, the glove counters. Okay, so the gloves counter and one more tech counter to follow up. Then we end the session. Okay, so basically here we have the Riverstone rebound here. So during the intraday, it was moving towards 137. So it makes me happy. Why? Because it forms a morning star formation. But unfortunately, the closing at 135 reduced the power a little bit. So let's see whether tomorrow can we have another white candle to hit 137 and eventually move higher than that. Then this will help Riverstone to push back to 144 targets. Okay, so let's see whether it can pass 144. After that, then 150 will be the next target. Top Glove today opened up strongly, went up higher, but towards the end, selling pressure comes in. As you can see that it closed lower. It's still hovering at the bottom, very near to this support level over here at about 152. So if you were to look at UG Healthcare, it's very similar. Both of them have the same type of movement. In fact, all three of them have the same type of movement. So why do I say that? If you look at Riverstone, continuous selling most of the time. Top Gloves also. followed by UG Healthcare, also almost one straight line down. So it really needs to hold a support level now, and we can see all of them are almost at the support level and pending for rebound. So what could explain of such weakness is that we know that Malaysia has extended their MCO, and then Riverstone, Top Gloves, and UG Healthcare came out to update their business. For Riverstone, they updated that this so-called lockdown is going to impact 2% of their production, so not so bad. Top Gloves, UG Healthcare, all probably affected. So now is that where would they be going? So we can see that the selling down of these three counter, let me just put it to 4 in the window. You can see Riverstone, look at the volume over here. And then we look at UG Healthcare, look at the volume over here. Both these two counter selling down, but the volume did not spike up. Okay, Top Gloves, the volume did not really spike until here once it comes to support, the volume start to spike. Another view of this is that there are a lot of supporter there where they would like to accumulate these shares, this low. So therefore explain this volume. So of course, it's not conclusive as yet. We are still waiting for the strong rebound to happen, a solid white candle closing above its last candle high. That will give us some sign that there might be more upward movement to come, with Top Gloves looking at the resistance at 178. Then we have UG Healthcare. Once it clear 63.5, then we probably can see 68. So so a lot of observation to be made. Okay, so just watch what happened to this counter. ISDN, right, was screened out by my screener, where I have a screener that uses the MA as an indicator. Where the stocks will touch the moving average, it will alert me. So basically, I can see ISDN is trying to form a low at this 20-day MA. So what we are looking at is that this counter must close above 6.4, then eventually move towards 6.5. Then we can see a return of the uptrend, breakout, and then hit 715. Okay, so let's see whether can ISDN keep up its good work. Close 6.4, solid white candle, then next 6.65. So with this, thank you for viewing the video. I'll see you next week. Along the week, do take care, stay safe as cases rises again. Stay safe, and then see you next week.